I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
Hello and welcome, everybody. We are gonna get started. First, let's take that off. Okay, fantastic. And welcome back. It's our weekly Deal Makers Live meetup. Before we get started, just want to encourage everyone to use the chat, right? Introduce yourself, and maybe you can even talk about, share like what you're looking for, what brought you here. We have really awesome content prepared for you. And now let's do a quick introduction on our host organization, Real Estate IQ. So we are a deal making community and deal making company, really, where we bring all sorts of support to help you find and win deals. Right, our flagship product is the off market motivated seller leads, right, where you see you have access daily. So you have a daily stream of leads where you can reach out to, which is very important for marketing. And you can reach out to these folks that have various reasons that they need to sell their property. And so we usually say that, hey, that's the starting point of getting any deals, right? We're trying to reach the folks that have reason and they're distressed. And then obviously we also have a lot of other programs. A couple of programs of note would be the hot leads, right, where we actually do the outreach for you, and we can schedule the appointment for you, so you can just go and win over the deals. We would actually provide deals as well if I guess doing marketing and doing outreach and closing is something that you would prefer someone else to do for you. We can actually bring you the deals and provide financing for you. So, every single step of the way, we can provide support and help you win more deals, right? That's where we can make money as investors. So the, quick disclaimer, we don't offer investment, financial, or legal advice. Everything is for educational purposes only. Occasionally, we do show you some case studies, right? That's one of our segments in the show. And the case studies are just for that particular case, just for your educational purposes. We have a deal making class that's every Friday. We're actually gonna talk about when that is, and that's tomorrow at a particular time. I'm gonna leave that as a cliffhanger for the end of this hour, and then we'll tell you what it's all about. We're gonna be using that time a lot of time as a working session as a team, and then we do outreach on the deals. And if you have a lead, you don't know how to close the deal, well, we have a network of closers and coaches that are extremely experienced in the closing side. So you can send your deal to us. We actually got a couple of folks that take advantage of this program, and we're actually kind of looking at how we can kind of end up closing that deal. So we got one that's really close. So our speakers today is yours truly. We also have Tamla and Randy. They are both extremely experienced investors and funding experts. And John is actually not going to be with us today, and he'll be back and joining us next week. So let's start with a little bit of market update. So I was just blanking out because I had a slide on today's agenda, and I go, where is it? So for the agenda, we're going to talk about the market update and a little bit of case study. And the special topic that we have is about how an investor can, fill out the information they need to apply for a hard money loan. So all the information that you need to expect to be able to provide to get approved for a equity or asset-based loan. We'll also talk a little bit about the information that you need to provide to get a line of credit as well, which is very important for investors that have been kind of in the business for a while, that funding, in the beginning, it's the deals. Later on, it's the funding in addition to continually getting the deals in your pipeline. And those are the things that we're going to talk about later. And then we'll also showcase a couple of deals that we have in our inventory. And then finally, we will kind of close and talk about the upcoming events. Okay, so that's the agenda slide that kind of got lost in this deck somehow. We'll bring it back next week. Okay, so the first segment that we have is the market update. Okay. In second quarter of 2025, investors actually purchased a record of 33% of single-family homes. That's a huge number, and that's driven mainly by small-scale buyers capitalizing on high prices and mortgage rates sidelining traditional buyers. And we also see that house flipping profits have fell to the lowest since 2008, while rising home prices and insurance costs continue to pressure the affordability. And that creates a new strategic opportunity. Challenges also equals the opportunity for the savvy investors. Okay, and then the big news we see is the federal government shutdown, and we get these questions a lot on, how does this shutdown impact real estate investors? So what we see is a couple of ways. Number one, as you know, that with the government shutdown, the biggest and immediate pain point are the fact that the government-backed programs are going to get delayed, right? It's not going to be moving. And the couple of ones we see are government-backed loans like FHA, VA loans, and USDA loans. Okay, so those are going to get delayed in terms of closing. Also, the flood insurance is going to get delayed. And then the third impact we see is that if you have properties that are in communities where there are kind of government heavy, let's say you have tenants that have a government job, well, their payment may be at risk. So investors should prepare for potential tenant payment stress in federal heavy areas and longer holding costs in the projects due to slowed government services. All right, so next we're going to have our case study, and this is where I welcome our Tamla here. Tamla, hi.
Hello, how are y'all?
Welcome.
Thank you. How's everyone this morning?
We have something prepared here for our case study, which is about the actual information that you need to provide to get approved for a hard money loan. And we thought that's a really important information for everybody, just to get prepared, right?
Correct.
Tamla, I'm gonna pass the mic to you. I'm gonna grab some water, and I'm gonna advance the slide.
Okay. Okay. Getting a hard money loan is not as difficult as most people think that it is. It's really a very simple application. To start out with, the property address that you are wanting the loan on. You have to have the property address. You have to have an estimated closing date for it, and your name. Not just your entity name, but also your name, contact information, like your email, your cell phone number, and if you're purchasing the property or if you're refinancing that property. And you need to let them know also if you plan on keeping the property as a rental property or if you're going to flip that property. And if you see there, you can see the box where it says provide a brief description of rehab goals or special request. In this box, just give a simple, general idea of what you're planning on doing to that property to improve the property, whether it be just paint, new flooring, or whether you're going to do a full rehab, new roof, foundation repair, new cabinets, new appliances. You're going to gut the bathroom and start over. Just put a general idea of what you're going to be doing in there. Then they're going to want the information about the title company or who you're closing with. In Texas, we normally close at a title company. I know in other states, they close at attorney's offices other than title companies. Who is the point of contact? The lender is more than likely going to send either an appraiser out or an inspector out. They want to know actually if it's a real property. Second thing is they want to know if what you're telling them that you're going to, that the property something needs to be done to the property. They want to see that. They're also going to look at your budget. Have you put enough money in your budget, or are you overinflating your budget a lot? Someone will reach out to you. They'll make an appointment with you to come by and take a look at the property. Those are the main things. Now, once you get this done, you're going to go into your budget. Be honest in your budget. You can move the numbers around a little, either up or down, but be very honest with your budget, because they have people that will look at your budget and will say, I'm not too sure about this. I don't think you've got enough money in here. I don't think you can get it done for that. Or it's taking you way too much money to do this. So try to be as honest as possible about your budget. And remember, this is an application, meaning that before you close, you can go in and readjust these numbers if something changes. A lot of times we send in our application before we have gotten the final numbers for our rehab project. But this starts the process. And then as we get our numbers, for instance, like if we have to do foundation repair, I actually want the foundation company out there looking at the house, giving me a quote of what it's going to take to make that foundation repair. If I have not estimated that correctly, I will go back to the lender and I will say, I need to revise my budget. This can be done before you close. It's much easier before you close than after you close. So get your numbers, do an estimate, turn that in, and then after you get your numbers, you can always revise it. So have I hit on everything there, Steve?
Well, I was gonna also say that. I was gonna ask you, Tamla, if we realize, which has happened in our real life cases, is that the budget was underestimated. We start working on the property. I go, oh man, this is a bigger problem than we initially thought. When I think it's pretty typical when you first kind of see the house, a lot of times maybe the lighting is not there. There's a lot of furniture stuff kind of blocking the way. It's possible that we just kind of end up underestimating.
Yes.
So how do we remedy that?
Well, in some cases, you can go back to the lender and you can say, is there more money you can lend? If they've maxed out the budget or what they're willing to lend, then my recommendation would be to look for a private lender or someone that's willing to do seconds towards this property. What you're talking about, Steve, yes, it happens. It happens quite often, especially when someone is still living in the property when you're looking at it, because you cannot cut into those walls. You cannot, there are things you can't, you don't know for sure if all of the wiring has not been pieced together. I mean, those are things that happen. And if that is the case, you're going to have to redo things that you did not expect to have to do. We had an incident with a house that we had purchased. We did not plan on having to completely redo the electrical. Someone had, they'd upgraded the box but they did not upgrade the wire. We had a storm come through, blow a tree down, and when the tree fell, it pulled the electrical away from the house. Well, at that point, the city will not allow the electric provider to hook the electric back up without an inspection. Once we got that inspection, the city said, no, you've got to bring all of this up to code, because they had replaced the box probably about 8 years ago. At that point, we hired our electrician. He went in and basically came back and said, let me show you what the previous owner did. And when he started showing me the way they pieced together the wire, it was totally unsafe, completely unsafe. I truly believe it was a sign from God to replace the electric in this house, because I did not want anyone getting hurt in this house. But it caused us to go off budget because we did not plan on having to redo the electric. So things like this happen. Be prepared for it. Don't be afraid to contact your lender and ask them, hey, can you help me out here? Is there anything you can do? If they're not, find a second lien lender, usually someone personal that can do a small loan for you. They will be in a second place position, or negotiate with them how they may want to do this. So.
Yeah, and I think we launched the funding program and the liquidity program. Also, kind of for that reason, is just to have a backup plan of like, okay, if there's unbudgeted expenses, what are we gonna do? You gotta find some money somewhere. So friends and family is a good source, and then maybe there are some other sources that you can tap into. So,
and we do have a source where you can go in and get cash. And Steve can talk a little more about that in another program if we don't have time today, where we do provide working capital for businesses. It is going to be, they're going to be looking at your personal credit if you don't have a relationship with them already. So, but we can do that. We can provide some working capital. If you need that, we have a program that does do that.
There's always, and then, obviously there's costs for that working capital, but anything's better than running out of cash.
That's right. That's
exactly right. You can realize the profits that you originally planned.
Exactly.
It's always good to leverage.
And like I said, if I don't know, Steve, if you've got the form for the budget, I don't know if you had a chance to put that in, but
I did not.
Okay, we can go over that a little bit. Some lenders want a really detailed budget. And when I say detailed, I mean very detailed. I mean, not just the roofing, but the labor, the material costs. They want, and some don't mind if you group it all together. Most investors and people that are rehabbing homes, when we have a new roof put on, we go to our roofer, we get a price for the roof. We don't buy the roofing material and pay that one way and pay for the shingles separate, or the shingles and the labor separately. So when you have that, just put on there a total for roofing, and explain. There's usually a little place that you can write a comment and say, I'm hiring a roofing contractor who is providing labor and materials on this. Break them all out. On the more detailed ones, notice on the rehab budget, it's going to say like countertops for the kitchen. Put your amount on there. But you also need to make notice of the fact whether it is going to be granite, quartz, butcher block, formica, what you're putting on there. These are the lenders that want a really detailed report on it. Other lenders, they just want a general idea. Roofing, They want an amount. Flooring, they want an amount. They want you to say what kind of flooring. Well, I'm going to put tile in the wet areas. I'm going to put wood flooring, or I'm going to put the luxury vinyl plank in such and such areas, or I'm going to put carpet in such areas. Each lender is different. So the ones that you work with, and if you need help with the budget, always call your lender and say, I'm not understanding what you're looking for here. Can you give me an idea? Give me some help here. They'll help you out, or they'll tell you, oh, you don't need to be that detailed about it. They'll give you a good idea of how to work with them. Building that relationship with the lender is very, very good. You always want to do that.
And I think, Tamla, in my case, it's because you have already worked with this lender and you already know how to fill out the form. So it was very easy for me to follow the example that you have done, which I really appreciate.
And one of the things that I have noticed over 20-something years is that most of the rehab budgets, they're very similar. There's a few of them that want really detailed, but most of them just want a general idea of what you're going to do. And they can give it to the inspector that's going out there, or the appraiser. And the appraiser can, if you say it's going to be a rental property, they're looking for rental property quality. If you're going to flip it, they're looking for flip quality. They can tell by the price of the house whether it's, beginners, or if it's $500,000 property, or if it's $150,000 property. So they know what they're doing too, and it's not that difficult. Steve and I were fortunate enough, because we've worked with some lenders enough to fill out some information and get what we consider to be a line of credit. It's not a line of credit that we can go out and buy anything we want. Just call them up and say, hey, I need you to deposit this to our account. It is address specific, but we don't have to go through as much of approval because we've already been approved to get everything done. So when we find a property, instead of it taking a month to close, we could actually close it probably in about 10 days if the title company and the seller is ready to close it, because they already have all of our information. So we're just filling out the information on the budget and the address. So that is something we can also help anyone with, is getting you approved for that line of credit. Those type of loans are usually good for 12 months. And then at the end of 12 months, you have to update your information so that they continue to provide you with that line of credit.
And I thought just having access to that, Tamla, just kind of enables you to be more free in finding deals and making deals, because you know that funding is not going to hold you up, because we put out so much work just to get the deal under contract. And if we can't close, then all that work is wasted. So just kind of having that peace of mind, I thought that was important.
It is. I mean, when we find a property, most of the time before we even get the property under contract, I've already emailed the lender to let them know that, hey, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at offering. This is what we think the rehab's going to be on it. And within 24 hours, they're back with me saying, okay, this is great. This is what our numbers come up at, because they have an internal system where they can look, they can kind of do an internal appraisal on the property and tell you whether or not you're in line with your price or not. I mean, if you know your market, you're going to pretty much know what the ARV of that property will be. And they do too. But they're your double checkers, I guess, if you can say that.
And I just thought of this, Tam. I don't think I have brought this up in our conversations. Is our first deal that, we got under contract, I think, September, maybe August of last year. We
I
closed
think
in
it was
December.
September.
We closed in December.
Mhm.
And since then, we have already acquired, a total of 6 properties, and I think more than 10 doors, because a couple of them have multiple doors. And just kind of being able to kind of scale it that fast, I think it's because, you already know what needs to be done, and also kind of having all that funding in place that really enables that, kind of like, oh, we got a deal, bam. We got a deal, bam, put it under contract, and then we close.
And it is very, very important to build a relationship with a lender or a couple of lenders. That I cannot emphasize how important that is. If you're in the real estate business and you're wanting to do this, this is what we do. I do this full time. It's very important to have a relationship with a few lenders out there, and we can provide that. We can provide you the relationship with the lenders that you need to buy, to rehab, or to hold on and rent your properties. We can provide you with that information. You know us. So we can talk with you one-on-one. You can ask us questions that you may not feel comfortable asking a stranger. We can help you. And believe me, we are investors. We know exactly what you're going through when you want to buy the property, when you're afraid to buy the property, whether or not am I paying too much for it? Am I not putting enough into the rehab budget? We've been there.
There's so many doubts, the first one too. It's like, well, why am I getting this deal? Am I, is it because I didn't get it in the right price? Like, did I pay too much? Or like, and when you're not getting deals, it's like, what am I doing wrong? There's always doubts the first time.
There's always doubts anytime. I cannot say that every time I put a property under contract, I'm second guessing myself. Is this a good property? Am I paying too much for this? Am I off on my rehab budget? That's human nature for you to feel like that. Do it. Keep going. There's always a way to turn it around and make it positive. And we're here to help. We're going to make sure that we're going to make sure that you're going to do your best at it, and it's going to be a good outcome. If it's a property that we don't like, we're going to tell you, hey, we're not telling you not to buy this property, but I don't like this property. And the reason I don't like it is, and we'll tell you. And Steve has brought properties to me and wanted me to look at, and I've looked at them, and he's like, well, what offer should we make? And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and I finally say, I don't like this property, Steve. And I'll tell him why. And he's like, oh, you're right. I didn't think about that. So,
and I think having that objective kind of someone that wears that hat, because when you're working the deal, we work so hard and we're emotionally attached.
yes.
And we're like, that's a good deal. I work so hard on it. It has to be a good deal. And just having
Yes.
someone with a cooler head and like, no, the numbers don't work. That's so bad.
And I'm fortunate because I turn all the numbers over to my husband, who's usually never seen the property. And he runs the numbers. And he'll come back and he'll say, no, this doesn't work. And I'm like, oh, yes, it does. I know it does. No, it doesn't work. So it's always best to have someone else that can run the numbers. Again, in the situation with Steve and I, we either he finds the properties and I look at pictures, or I look at the properties and vice versa here. So he notices things that I don't notice, and I notice things that he does not notice. And there's things that will not bother me, but it bothers Steve, and vice versa. So it's good to have someone else that you can knock ideas off.
Hey, Tamla, now that you brought this up, I do have a question because we have some folks that are a little bit newer, and when they got a lead and they don't have it under contract yet, usually the concern is, if I share this deal with you, are you gonna take my deal, or like, are you gonna, make sure I get paid or get credit if I give you the information? I think there's some inherent, like you said, it's human nature.
Well, first of all, if you're that uncomfortable working with someone, always get something signed with them that they're not going to go behind your back and get the deal, or that they are not going to pay you if you're uncomfortable working with them. I would say work with people that you're only comfortable with. I've worked with many wholesalers in the past. I've worked with homeowners. I've worked with other agents. I've had some to go behind me and to take the deal from me. I don't work with those people anymore. I've had some wholesalers that as soon as they get the deal, they contact me because they know exactly what I'm looking for. They know I'm going to pay them. I'm their exclusive buyer in some areas or for certain types of properties. So that you want to build a relationship with people that you know that will pay you. As I've told Steve, and I mean, what goes around comes around. If you're working with someone and they go behind your back and take the deal, they're out for failure because they're going to do it to everybody else. And really and truly, we work in a very small community, and word gets out, they will not succeed. But if you are uncomfortable, always get something signed that basically says you're not going around me, or you're going to pay me, or whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I have been on the on the side where someone brings me the deal, and that exact those words were kind of brought up, and I just said, hey, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't need to send me the information.
Right.
And in the startup world, in the beginning kind of phase, I spent a lot of time in the startup world, and the angel investors and VCs, they always say, like, if someone doesn't want to share the idea, I don't want to hear it. If you don't feel comfortable just even sharing your idea, how good is the idea? At the end of the day, it's all about kind of the execution of the idea, which there's some alignment, a little bit of similarity here, maybe not fully, but I just thought, like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to
share it.
Don't do
in
it.
In this world, lenders like to lend. They don't like to buy. Most wholesalers, they just want to wholesale. They're not in it to find that, to see what they can do and then go behind your back. And they make their money through wholesaling. That's what they enjoy doing. I would not be in this business for as long as I've been in this business if I went behind people's back and bought properties after they had brought them to me. I don't play that game. I would not advise anybody else to play that game because it will come back and no one will do business with you.
Yeah, it's about being ethical and having integrity. Okay,
yes.
Let's talk about the line of credit.
Okay.
I got a couple of slides here. And we're not going to do a deep dive, but maybe we'll talk about the general information.
And don't be afraid of this. A lot of people look at this and they're like, oh my gosh, this is just more than I can handle. I just can't fill out all of this information. It's really just a repeat of what you're putting on the simple application. It's just goes a little deeper. It's the same. They want your name. They want your mailing address, your email, your phone number. If you have an outside job, they want to know who you work for. They want to know how many bank accounts you've got. I mean, they want to know what your assets are. You don't have to be absolutely to the penny but you give them an idea of what you've got. These lenders know that your bank account fluctuates when you're doing what we do. So, and they're gonna want to see some bank statements. Just have them ready. If you've got $5 in the bank, don't be embarrassed about it. Send it in. It's, it's part of what we do. They're going to kind of want to know what assets you've got. They're going to want to know how many entities you have. Steve and I have more than one entity. They want you to list those entities. They want you to list how much you own of that entity. What percentage do you own of it? Who's your other partner? So it's not rocket scientist. It's just information. It's information. You're not going to have to be sending in a tremendous amount of paperwork because, believe it or not, all of this stuff can be found online. So when you fill this out, they're just going to verify what you're telling them online. They're going to check your entities. They're going to check if you have a partner with the entity. If you've got a brokerage account, share that brokerage account, whether it's an IRA, 401k, whatever it is, share that. They're just looking to make sure that what you're saying, that you're a real person, that what you're doing is real, you're being truthful, and share that information with them. They will take this information, they will put it into their system, and they'll come back with a, yes, you've been approved for a line of credit, or we've got some questions here. This is what we found. Is this you? We found this when we ran that background check on you. Is this you? So, but it's easy once you get past this, looking at it, and you're going like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of information. Not really. It just looks like a lot of information.
I think once you've done it, then it's easy because now you're ready for any kind of application or whatnot. When you buy a house, you gotta fill out this anyway.
You got to fill out more than this when you buy a house. So it's not that difficult. When I started out, and the application that I had to fill out was worse than this. And I mean, I looked at it and I closed it. I came back and I looked at it again and I closed it, and it was like overwhelming because I'm like, I just don't know if I can do this. But I did. It's just, you take it a little bit at a time, but it's not that overwhelming. It's simple, really. Yep, there's the rest of it.
Page.
They want to know how much debt you have. They're a lender. Of course, they want to know how much debt you've got. They want to know what your net worth is. Any lender wants to know what your net worth is. So keep and this is a good idea. If you don't already have an REO spreadsheet that you just keep ready to email out, fill this out and keep it updated, because once a year, you're going to have to share this information with the lender that you have a line of credit with, or multiple lines of credit. You will also have to have an REO worksheet or spreadsheet anytime you apply for a DSCR loan. So keep that spreadsheet up to date. Have it very easy to just email out to whoever you need to email it out to. It's not so overwhelming if you keep it up to date.
And perhaps, let me kind of bring up a parallel point of, like being an entrepreneur and being an investor means you gotta wear multiple hats. Or you gotta wear the hat of, say, a project, managing the project, You gotta wear the hat of numbers and accounting and stuff. And then if you're doing marketing and you're doing outreach, then you gotta wear the hat of outreach, closing, marketing, sales, right? And so it's kind of in a way 3 distinctive personalities, right? When you're looking at numbers, you gotta get like very detail oriented and technical. When you're managing the construction, I don't know what's the right word to describe it, but you gotta have that kind of broad base look. And then in sales and marketing, it's more outreach and kind of not being shy, right? And you gotta have that embody that personality. We usually and we can do everything because our human mind is just so powerful. We can do all 3, but being good at all 3 simultaneously, I maybe that's not very possible. I think when I need to do accounting, it takes me several days to kind of get into that mode, and then I get really good at it, and then I would get really bad at everything else. So I don't know. I'm just kind of bringing that up as a point to make for folks that are kind of like, if you're kind of struggling on one and you're avoiding to do something, it's okay because you're not naturally wired to want to do certain things. But once you've done it, then you at least now you can keep getting better at it.
Exactly. And also, for every project you do, put it on a spreadsheet, make a list, keep that updated with every project you do, whether you fix and flip, whether you rent and hold, whatever you do, keep up with that information and take pictures, before and after pictures. With some lenders, they want to know every project you've done. That can turn into hundreds of projects, and there's no way that you can remember all of those or all the details about them. But they want to see your track record. The more that you have, the better terms you're going to get, especially if you have a positive track record. So always keep up with that. And like I said, keep pictures. They want, even if it's 3 pictures of before and 3 pictures of after, keep those pictures and have them readily available to email out if need be. Most of the time, they will only ask for the last 5 years. But I have had lenders ask me, how long have you been doing this and how many projects have you done? And can you give me the information on those?
And I think that's key. I think kind of having that organization habit. And it's a very, very valuable skill set too, just kind of keeping track of all that, because when it comes time to fill all this out, if we don't have it organized, that's where it gets very overwhelming. It's like, where do I even find the information to fill out one line? But if you already have all the information, it's just about pulling it out. And Tamla, I don't know if I told you, but a couple of years ago with Joseph, we took this class called Building a Second Brain. And it's about how you use kind of the computer and leverage your phone to help you remember more stuff. And that has been kind of truly life-changing, because otherwise, I think before that was, I don't know, too busy or whatnot. It's like everything is everywhere and it was disorganized. And now you work with me. I got my stuff together. I was not born like this.
I am so thankful for you, because you actually do what I don't particularly like to do, and I guess I do what you don't particularly like to do. So I think we make a good team. We work together very well, and people that have assets, and when I say assets, they're skills to the table, but they're not really good with other things. Find someone to work with. Because if you're both good at the things you're good at, you can actually get 2 and 3 times the amount done that only you would be able to do.
Yeah. I think that partnership, having that compatibility for a partnership is so crucial.
It is. And like I said, Steve and I have built a team. We work very well together. I know what he's really good at and what he likes to do. He knows what I'm really good at, what I like to do. We have a lender that we go to for everything. So we have a contact. We have more than one contact there. We have real estate agents. Even though I am a real estate agent, I do not list my own properties. And we'll go into that at another time. But we have real estate agents that list our properties when we want to sell them, when we have property managers, when we are ready to lease them. These agents also bring us properties that they have when they know it's something that we're interested in, and they know what price range we're looking at. I mean, they're not going to bring us a property at retail price when they know we're not going to pay that. So building that team is very, very important. And if it's something that you can't pay someone to do right now, hey, find out if they want to split a little bit of profit. You know, it works out for everyone. You have to find the person that you can work with and that they can work with you the way that you can work together for it benefits both of you.
Yeah, and if you happen to be around the Texas area, you can also leverage our team. We're always looking for folks that are talented and hardworking and want to join something and kind of build it together. I think we're always short-handed, right, Tamla? You were just telling me that you're so busy you couldn't get everything done.
We are. I need to clone. I need about 3 of me.
All right. Okay. So we are now ready for our next segment, which is Q&A. And while everybody is kind of typing in their questions for Tamla, and I can also field some questions, we are gonna talk about some of these deals that we have. We have 2 right now in San Antonio. Actually, we have 5, and I just chose to show 2 of these. And these are big projects. In fact, there are 2 deals in Waco, Tamla. You and I have we have seen. We got the glimpse of those kind of first peek of those 2 properties. And one in Waco is in a neighborhood that we think we're gonna put a bid on, and then another one I think we're gonna pass on. So quite a bit of work on these, I think, typically. And if you want photos, access to these, we can provide these for you too. Okay, so we have 910 Green, we have 10 Linden. Actually, because we have more time, I'm actually gonna share more deals in here. Why not? You can see we have a list of these deals. They're all in Texas. And if you're in another state, we have them too. Just let me know which state you're in. Okay, different price points. So this one is rent ready, $250. I would say $250 is kind of like asking price. You can always offer the number that works for you. This one is $180. Again, the photos and lockbox info are available. You just need to ask for it. You can use the chat or use our deals program link. And I think one of our team members is going to share that on the group chat. Please. Okay, we got another one, Corliss, San Antonio. So we got a couple of San Antonio properties here. And then we got 2 in Corpus Christi also, right south, just south of Highway 37. This is also Corpus Christi. And then we got these 2 in Galveston. One is zoned in multifamily, the other one single family. Oh, and then this was last event. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the upcoming events, and then we'll answer the questions out there. We instead of pre-foreclosure gold mine, I think we have the band design class that's gonna get played tonight at 6 p.m. Central Time and on Saturday again. So it's gonna be how you can leverage band designs to get deals. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna leave this QR code up here. Catherine has a question. For new investors, how do you build credible personal financial statement with limited asset and credit? Oh, that's a good question. Let's say you're just starting out.
If you're just starting out, lenders know this. A lot of new investors with lenders, they may want you to have a mentor or a partner that you can work with. They may also they may want you to put more money down. Like the first one you do, maybe first one or second one you do, they may want you to put more money down so that you can get something going and you can build credibility with them. That's the way the most new investors can get started. If you've never been in this business, find someone that has, work with them. If you fill out an application and you let the lender know, hey, I am new at this, but I have a mentor that's been doing this for X number of years and they've done X number of properties. That's usually an easy way to do it. Lenders like to see that from investors. They like to see that you're not going into this like completely newbie, have no idea what you're doing. Give them just like being on this webinar. It's a learning process. Let them know, hey, I do this every week, or I attend this every month, or whatever. Let them know that too. Here again, it's building a relationship with that lender so that they know you and they know what you're doing. But I was new at one point. Steve was new at one point. Everyone has to start somewhere. So that's how you build credibility.
Let me share my perspective, Tamara, just because just even last year, right? That's where I really kind of got my feet wet and got started. And kind of that first form that says like, what deals have you done? And I'm like, I haven't done any actual projects or deals. So fortunately, Tamla has a full list that I could leverage. And kind of as a partner, it's okay that I didn't have a lot of those project experience under my belt. And obviously, I'm not the one managing the project. So, I was just so glad that Tamla has a list of projects that she could use. And I go, oh yeah, just by association, we have done this.
And that's the way we did it. Yes, I remember that. Steve calls me about 9 o'clock at night. Tamala, I've got this application. What do I put on here?
I haven't done any projects. But are we gonna get approved?
And my response was yes. Let's put this one down. Let's put this one down. Let's put this one down. And yes, 2 days later, you were approved.
And now, a year later, we got a couple of projects. Now, I would still say, I guess kind of from a project management standpoint, I would still say I'm pretty new, because I don't actively manage these projects, but I'm kind of used to the other facets, which is good, and I'm also kind of seeing the progress of the deals.
Yeah, and you're also learning the good and the bad.
Yes, ma'am. I was telling my wife, I go, that's just kind of what we have to do. Just kind of by association and just kind of getting a little more used to it. We can't just like go from nothing to something. We gotta like just kind of slowly ease ourselves in, and then maybe one day we know how to manage a project ourselves. Okay, yes. Kevin is asking, do you have anything in DFW?
Well, Steve, you do, don't you?
We actually have a couple of deals we're working on in our pipeline, and Kevin, there are a couple. And Kevin, your name looks familiar. Maybe we have spoken before. We have motivate seller leads in DFW. So you want to actively do marketing and outreach, you can do that. We can also set up appointments for you, where we can do outreach to these leads, and when they respond, we can send you these hot leads. So if you want to kind of take advantage of that, just I guess let us know. You can scan this QR code. Actually, that's a perfect plug-in for the QR code, and set something up with us, and we can share with you the programs that we offer. And empty lots, yeah, actually one of the properties comes with an empty lot right next to it.
Are you just looking in the DFW area, Kevin?
Oh, Kevin is getting back active. Yeah. Yeah, I remember speaking with Kevin. So welcome back. He says he's looking at DFW area.
Okay.
And Catherine, what key details do you prioritize? Oh, to impress lenders.
My desire. I impress lenders with my knowledge of real estate and my desire to do what I want to do with real estate. My passion is taking older homes and turning them into fabulous homes. And when I'm talking to a lender about this, they hear it in my voice. They know that this is my passion. Even working in rural areas, and sometimes we have to convince the lender to lend money in rural areas. They hear my passion, and they talk to me about my passion and how they can hear it in my voice. And what it is that you want to do, become very passionate about it. I mean, if you're going for $1 million houses, be passionate about it. If you're going for the low income starter homes, be passionate about it. Find what you're passionate about. If it's taking an older home and turning it into something beautiful, be passionate about it. I don't consider this a job. This is my life. I love what I do, and you can hear it. You can hear it in my voice when I'm talking to someone about it. I don't always have a good personal financial statement to turn in. I mean, I'm in real estate. It's up and down. Some days I'm broke. I have no money in the bank, and I've got a high net worth because of my real estate holding.
You're paper rich.
Yeah, I mean, lenders know this. If you're in real estate, lenders know this. If you're not passionate about what you do, they're not going to be as passionate to you about lending you money. And yesterday, Steve and I had a phone meeting yesterday discussing, I think it was 3 properties. Yeah. My husband was back in his office, and I didn't know that he was actually listening to our conversation. And when he came back where I was, he was like, "Hun, do you have any idea how much you love what you do?"
Oh, that's so kind that he said
that. And I do love what I do. I'm knowledgeable about what I do. But I've also done this the majority of my adult life. So I've got a lot of years of experience. And I wouldn't still be doing this if I didn't like it, if I didn't enjoy it.
And I also appreciate, Tamara, that you enjoy teaching. So like every session that we were working together, I was learning a lot from you. So I really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
I do enjoy teaching. I like helping people find their dreams, find their desires, enjoy what they're doing. And I'll tell you, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. I've had several friends that have tried this and they're like, I can't do this. I don't know how you handle this. I just can't do this. And I'm like, I love it.
So, Tamla, Kevin wants to have your contact info. I can share with you, Kevin, if you could type in your phone number. I have Kevin Robinson here, and I just don't know if that's you. So if you could share your phone number, and I'll send Tamla's info to you. All right, our hour is up. Thank you, everybody, and we are on our last slide. So, as always, encourage everyone to get active, take action, and that's how we learn. That's how we really, that's how we can thrive. So don't hesitate. You can never know enough to take action. So just go for it. The tuition and the lessons are in the act itself.
Put a contract on a property before next Thursday. And then tell us about it. Tell us what you've got.
Yeah, or have a hot lead. If you have a hot lead, that also counts.
That's right. But tell us why you think it's a hot lead. Tell us why you've put a contract. You've made an offer on this property or you've got it under contract. Let us know. We're here to help.
All right. With that said, we're going to end today and look forward to seeing everybody for the upcoming events and also next Thursday, same time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tamla. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.